Buyer Brokerage. Mandatory in Alberta since 2014, but not effectively used. I'm Shane Parent, RE/MAX River City, associate broker and owner, and we get questions from our associates regularly on how to convince a buyer to engage them in a buyer brokerage agreement. So today I just want to share my process and how I avoid very common objections about signing a buyer brokerage. So for me, I have it as mandatory in my business to have an in-person meeting with all of my buyers to do a needs analysis. And we'll do that at the office, which is a great place to showcase our nice office, or at a neutral site like a coffee shop, Starbucks, Tim Hortons. Get a lot of mileage out of that. So I'll meet with the buyers, we'll do our needs analysis. At that appointment, I will discuss the agency acknowledgement and consumer relationship guide. So we discuss my role as a real estate agent, and I will bring up and discuss with them the buyer brokerage agreement and the fact that it is mandatory as a real estate agent for me to have a service agreement in place with any clients I'm working with, either as a buyer or as a listing. And so we would have to have a seller agreement if I was going to take a listing. In this situation, we have to have a buyer agreement for me to work exclusively with you as a buyer. So that discussion takes place at our initial meeting, usually before we look at any properties. I would say caveat that is the only time that I would maybe look at property before having that conversation would be a sign call or MLS call directly on my property. I'll meet with them at that property, then set up the in-person needs analysis. So my discussion with the buyer is, this is the agreement, it is mandatory, and once I've established and shown value with you as your agent, at that time I'll ask for your commitment and in turn give you my commitment as your agent and supplying value as educating you on market, showing you properties, helping you with negotiation strategy, history, research, and the like. And so from that point, just to sum up, I have an introductory meeting, needs analysis, we look at property, I tell them after our first time out, I'll ask you to sign the agreement to hire me as your agent. That process worked really well for me over the years, and I rarely get any pushback or discussion about my services or why should I sign this agreement.